Autistic people and emotional dysregulation. Uh, I guess if you wanted to stop an autistic person from doing anything in their lives, poisoning them with heavy metals would probably be a really good start. Um, Even the wives, because there was an autistic guy, I think his name was Austin, he wanted to be a church leader, so I made him a church leader. Yeah. I didn't really give a shit because the wives were explaining to me how the heavy metal poisoning affected the brain and how it altered it, and how it was basically the same level of alteration that a neurodivergent person experienced, with what they called none of the neuroses, which was a lie. If you ever find yourself getting pissed because somebody asked you for help and then you go, "Oh, you're blaming me," I got news for you. That's a neurosis. That is a neurological condition, a psychological condition. You should never get pissed at anybody for asking for help. In fact, you should encourage it, because that's what creates society. And that's why society exists to begin with. Unless you're one of these people, in which case you're angry that society exists, and you're angry that your baby raping, pedophilic, malignant narcissist church leader isn't in control of it. But my brother said this thing that made a lot of sense to me. He said, people just want to be on the winning side. It doesn't matter what that winning side looks like. It doesn't need to have morals or values. And one of the things that keeps coming up in my newsfeed that keeps agitating me, which is something I don't know how the fuck the U.S. government just lets you fucking put shit out there like this, but it's just, it speaks to the moral degradation of society. One of them, my favorite recent, was Stoicism, the moral morality of a slave, or the morality of slavery. How your morals are a cage, and you're trapped in there. And okay, so I just start killing, raping, murdering, and destroying, and then everybody else has to deal with that, and then I get power, right? And even the church leaders, that same empty hum you heard just now in your head. Even the church leaders do that because the word's contempt. They don't like it when you're just like, oh, see, it's a stupid philosophy from stupid people. But here's the stupider part of it. You want to talk about a real slave? Imagine not having any accountability and agency in anything you do, thinking it's a good thing, and then committing atrocities, and then going, that's not my fault, that's the religion's fault. I just have to do what the religion tells me. That sounds an awful lot like slavery. If you just have to obey the religion no matter what. That sounds like a slave mentality, in fact. I would argue, once again, because I believe literally removing all agency and accountability from somebody gives them Stockholm Syndrome, and I argue the definition of Stockholm Syndrome should be somebody without agency or accountability. Because once people have lost those things, they are capable of any evil. And these guys are going, oh, when you have morals, you're the slave. And once again, what do we know? 1984, projection. Everything's a projection. These people are slaves. If you fuck up in society, they have to kill you. That's the rules of the church. They read them and then go, these are the rules, and everybody has to follow them, and that's slavery. That's personal imposed slavery. And I can point all this shit, but this is the thing. Friedrich Nietzsche, doublespeak nihilism for dummies. Enslavement through morals or whatever is literally doublespeak slavery for dummies. If you're a slave and once again, these people are trained to take it in the ass, take it in the ass, literally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. They are trained to handle everything in that situation. And what does that sound like to you? That sounds like a slave to me. If somebody came across with that mentality, I'd be like, you're a slave, dude. You're a slave and you have no agency in anything you do. You need to get the fuck away from me. Don't spread it over here. But I would also argue, because there's a guy that talked about Lovecraft is actually about Christians and Cthulhu and the King in Yellow or whatever the fuck it is. They're all an analogy for Christians because what the zombification process offers people is a loss of agency in everything they do. And without agency, you don't have to fear consequences. You don't have to fear the unknown. You don't have to fear any of this shit because, well, you're going to be protected under the violent, stupid leader. At least you're going to believe you are, because these people get sent to their deaths all the time. They're like war boys from Mad Max. But this is the thing, they're nihilists. So, because they're nihilistic, and they worship death, and every church in the world worships death, there is not one that worships life. These people, and their blowhard nihilism, are more than willing to get themselves killed for the church, and their enslavement. And they are the slaves. And this shit fed into the stupid shit with Stu explaining to me that Five Nights at Freddy guy that enslaved the kids is actually a member of this Christian church. And it's what all the church leaders do. They enslave other souls. And I told him, I was like, on a psychological level, if you were to tell me you were murdering people to enslave their souls, I would probably go, do you feel enslaved? And Stu was like, I don't feel enslaved. I just have to do everything the church tells me to do. I have to have sex with babies and murder people and do all these things that are against my morals and values, and I threw my morals and values out, so how could I possibly feel like I'm enslaved? Everything you just said sounds like something an enslaved person would say to justify their enslavement. Everything. But I got a little bit of ADHD in this. I'm going to argue the truth about it is religion is enslavement. And it is enslavement. It is a self-reinforcing enslavement. Because think about it. You have to perform the rituals at the hour in the day they are to be performed. You have to do the things. You're not supposed to drink the coffee. You have to pray 30 times a day, or whatever religion. You're not allowed to eat this. You're not allowed to have all the sex. You can have some sex, but you're not allowed to have the sex that you want to have, or maybe the sex you would like to experiment with. And it's kind of funny, because Anal Eating Mommy goes, go out of your shell! Go out and experience the world! I was like, so you guys have experienced all the sexual positions of the Kama Sutra, and Anal Eating Mommy God went, no! Well, you haven't experienced life, now have you? You've denied yourself parts of life due to your religion, so you are a slave. I don't want to. I was like, no, you just say you don't want to. The truth is you want to. You just can't, because you're a slave. And I would argue even these people ruining my life is them projecting how dystopian their own lives are. But it's okay, because they found the solution to the suffering, which is popping LSD. Yeah. Imagine that. Enslaving yourself, trapping yourself, making a deal with the devil, becoming trapped in a, what do they call it? Integrity, obedience, consistency contract with a man baby. That's going to make you do whatever they want to do. They're going to try to play a ridiculous game of multi-layered chess, and anytime they fuck it up, they're going to act like they didn't fuck it up, or they're immediately going to switch to the blame game. This is your fault. You did this. Danielle McGinnis. He had those guys waterboard me in Ackworth. He had those guys rape me in Ackworth. And then when that didn't work, he poisoned me with heavy metals till I was retarded, and he got what he wanted. And then when he finally put me through all the hell on earth, what did he do? Everything's going bad. It's your fault. This has to be your fault. I don't have any agency in this. And this is what a lack of agency looks like. It is my personal opinion that a true slave, a real slave, has no agency in anything they do. You can't. Because how on earth, as a slave master, am I going to get you to do what I want you to? If you have agency, you'll be like, this is wrong, I'm not killing this person. This is wrong, I'm not having sex with that baby. This is wrong, X and Y, that's why the morals have to go. And I have no doubt the church rewards you when you just demonstrate how amoral you can be. That being the most amoral son of a bitch on the planet is probably amazing to everybody in the church. And they're probably thrilled to death about how amoral you are. But that's neither here nor there. This is an important video, but trust me, no fucking Christian is going to watch it because they're going to go, you're arguing I'm a slave to my religion because they dictate everything I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do to me. They dictate what's moral and what's not moral. And the moral of slavery is actually, it's inverted because I'm enslaved by my religion. You are enslaved by your religion. Look no further than this. When I was president, I was high on drugs and completely removed from myself. And I told the wives I didn't feel like I had any control. So they asked me, would you like to kill somebody? And I said, what? And they said, yeah, when the former president got upset and he felt like he didn't have control, he would go and have a member murder somebody so he felt in control. And then they told me the story of Jose and the kid that said he loved this girl, and then Jose threatened to kill the kid if he didn't kill the girl, and the little kid killed the girl, so that meant that kid loved Jose more than he loved that little girl. So the wives explained to me through this beautiful story of Jose and how only the holiest of holy malignant narcissists will understand this story and all of its complexities because of the inner imaginations of their mind are an amalgamation. You don't understand? Oh, I do understand. You have a damaged brain. That alien feeling you feel is a damaged brain. It's a damaged brain that can't connect with anybody because it's damaged. That's what it is. But I digress. They're like, would you like to kill somebody? And I was like, yeah. And then they contacted some guy, some random schmuck from the church, and told me to tell him how to kill his wife. To which I told him to shove his arm down her throat. And he got really emotional about it, but he did it. Now, if you're a member of this church, and your church leader or president called you and said, kill your kid, how much of a not slave are you? How free are you in that situation? And are you going to kill your kid? That's my question. The answer is yes, you're going to. Because that's how that works. And I know that because the president does it all the time. When he doesn't feel like he's in control. I personally wouldn't have gone that route of therapy, because it's not therapy, it's just ego reinforcement. I would have sat down and been like, Bobby, why do you not feel like you're in control? Well, they poisoned me with every heavy metal under the sun. They keep telling me I'm useless. My morals are stupid. Everything I believe is garbage. And they keep telling me this Jose guy's better than me, and he's a complete piece of shit. He has no morals or values. He has no connection with anything. He only cares about what he wants. He's terrified of death. He's terrified of everything on the planet, and he projects that outward and says everybody else is scared when he's actually the sniveling little bitch that's curled up in the corner crying himself to sleep every night because he is fucking terrified out of his mind. And in his garnering of fear and living in the amygdala, he's taken that fear and been like, I gotta use this as fuel. Because if I commit an atrocity, and like let's say somebody wants to put him in prison for murdering somebody where he belongs, he has to do everything in his power to make sure he doesn't go to prison and he's not held to account for his actions. And anytime anything does go wrong, he immediately has to find somebody to blame. This is somebody's fault. He has no agency in anything he does. He is a slave. And you could argue that maybe my surrendering to fear is a form of slavery. Maybe. But I don't view it that way. I view it as a natural human response. But this is the thing. Once again, you got a little ADHD in this. Here's the important part. If you ever want to stop an autistic guy from doing anything in their lives, poison them with heavy metals. Because when an autistic person is neurologically and emotionally dysregulated, they end up in a state of inaction, and it doesn't matter how much you yell at them or scream at them or threaten them, you're probably not going to get them to do a damn thing because they're in a state of dysregulation. Yeah. So, what am I getting at with this? If you're ever talking to a religious person and you're a free person that's not a part of a filthy, disgusting, baby raping, anal rape church, and they're trying to convince you to surrender thy booty hole to master. And literally they refer to the president of this church as master. And only when you're in a master and slave relationship are you a slave. And everybody in this church, in every church in existence, are all slaves. And they can't escape it. They're no different than black people during the 1700s or 1800s. They're slaves. Nothing more. They surrendered agency and accountability because agency and accountability felt terrifying. Because accountability means you get punished for your actions. And once they got rid of that, they became a thing. A mindless tool that does what it's told mindlessly. And they want so desperately not to be judged for that behavior. Thank you.